I saw a snippet of DC Young Fly's sentiments at Rich Homie Quan's funeral, and I wanted to point something out.
The first way to ask questions is you're asking because you're trying to learn the knowledge so you can apply it to future understanding. And the second way to ask questions is you're questioning because you want to question the reasoning for what's going on. And the second way of questioning can be disobedience.
It's the chaplain of the culture, Yale MDiv, and Black Church Studies scholar. And questioning God is the most natural, authentic, and genuine response to losing someone you love. Also, there are so many main characters in the biblical narratives that question God and or doubt or take matters into their own hands altogether. And it always works itself out. So, to DC Young Fly's point,
everybody go read the book of Job. Just read the book of Job. He took everything from Job. He kept snatching everything from Job. And Job, like every Christian that, everybody like, I put so much good into the world. Why so much bad coming to me? He like, what, I ain't really been bad to nobody. I just want to talk to him. I want to ask him why.
Job, one of the main characters in these narratives, petitioned God. And God showed up to the appointment. God will show up to your appointments too. There is no reason to discourage a cosmic relationship because it doesn't look like being a grateful slave. There is no reason to play overseer to a slave master ministry. If we claim a life affirming faith, let it be that. If Jesus came so that we can have life and have it more abundantly, let it be that. Questions are a part of life. All types of questions, an abundance of questions, not just the pre-approved, watered down Christian ones. Jesus asked God, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" So you can ask your questions as well. DC Young Fly is very well-meaning, so this is no dig to him at all. He claims that questioning the reasons for things can lead to disobedience because his framework of the Christian religion is this slave master ministry, which would message to him that disobedience in his framework is a very terrible thing and questioning equals disobedience because slaves don't question their masters. So I want to point out that this is a Black person saying this. The audience is Black, and so this is a cultural narrative that has been perpetuated. We have been groomed to accept these types of ministries. Even though so many main characters in the biblical stories have questioned God. Moses goes so far as to argue God down. But someone taught DC this slave master ministry. It's not new. It's perpetuated. This is actually the same tired, worn out narrative that people in power have used to maintain their status. Yes, we are taking all the resources, disproportionately redistributing them. And some people will unalive because of that. But don't question God. Black church culture has been conditioned to lean heavily on the ideas of obedience. But while a silent, suffering servant makes for a good slave, it doesn't make for a good life. And if Jesus came so that I might have life and have it more abundantly, damn it, I'm asking questions. But Black church culture has in many aspects kept the slave master ministry that postures God as a stern, stoic, toxically masculine boss God. The HGIC. If you will. And because the stories of the Hebrew Bible were at least set in a time where slave economies were normalized, and the New Testament was written in times where peasant economies were normalized, it makes sense that we can find many of these authors' interpretations of God and depictions of God within the biblical canon. We can find them to describe a nice-ish slave master, which is very oxymoronic because how is it nice to take someone's autonomy away? But wait, y'all hate historical context. So anyway, moving right along. It was the 2-year anniversary of PNB Rock's death a few days ago. This November will be the 2nd year anniversary of Takeoff's death. X passed 6 years ago. Juice WRLD passed 5 years ago. This November will make 4 years since King Von passed, and Pop Smoke passed 4 years ago as well. Just to name a few in the music industry like Rich Homie Quan. At this point, I wonder if God has some questions for us. What is going on? A relationship with your higher power will never cut off your questions. But a relationship with your slave driver might. The slave master ministry demands and overemphasizes obedience. It cultivates an environment for lowly, docile, agency-less individuals. And what kind of life is that? At that point, what are you having faith in? That life is going to suck and you're going to have to take it? Some Christians act like they have the patent on God, and that's just not the case. You are fully within your birthright to question your creator. I mean, maybe not the slave master ministry, but the ministry of Jesus invokes the idea of an abundance. John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. So when you see the stealing of life from people who would otherwise be here, when you see the destroying of lives, the unaliving of people, know that that is something to question. Ask questions of all kinds, not just the pre-approved ones. This is not a celebrity interview. This is real life. And crazy enough, if we approach Jesus with questions, Jesus will help us find the answers. They call him Emmanuel. He is the God with us, not the God against us. It's not about disobedience, it's about love. Jesus will help you find what you are looking for in the midst of your pain. It's not up to anyone to discourage a bleeding heart, someone going through unimaginable pain. It takes the power out of the relationship when we don't have the ability to question. Don't let anyone take what is between you and your God, because they are limited. You are powerful and can do all things. It's the Chaplain of Culture, here to expand ideas and grind your gears, but I promise you're going to have a good time. And I'll see you soon.